Welcome, my name is Ricky, and today we're going to be starting a new series called Ricky Talks. So, basically, I'm not 100% sold on the title yet. Basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to play a video game, and I'm going to talk about something. And that video game will be different from the other video games I'm playing on the channel. So today we're playing Mario Tennis, and next time we might play something else. And yeah, I'm just going to talk about a topic that has nothing to do with the game at hand. It's just something that may be on my mind, probably about gaming. So this series is not going to be like a weekly thing or a monthly thing necessarily. It's just going to be when I have a topic to think about, I'm going to sit down and record a video and then upload it. Today I'm going to talk about the Nintendo Switch. And while I do that, I'm going to play... I'm going to play a 5-set, 6-game 5-set match against Mario on normal difficulty. And we're going to play on a clay court. Because US Open's going on right now, so I figure, let's play on clay. Why not? Alright, so I'm going to talk about the Nintendo Switch. Get Luigi! Thank you. So the Nintendo Switch is a console that came out, last year, or not last year. It did not come out last year. It was announced last year. It came out in March. Although it feels like it's been out for a year. Sometimes. But I did not get a Nintendo Switch until June for my birthday. My birthday is in early June. And, so I got it in early June for my birthday, and there's an interesting story behind it, and then I'll talk about some of the things I like and some of the things I don't like. But before I get even to all that, I just want to say that a Nintendo Switch is probably the console that I am the most wanting. The console that I think is best what I want out of a console, and the idea that I can take it on the road, but I can also play it at home on a TV, and it looks just as good blown up on a TV as it does in my hands, which you can't really say a lot about most portable consoles, you know? And so for the past maybe couple of years, maybe even longer, but definitely I've known it for the past couple of years, this is the console that I have wanted. So this idea, even if I didn't know what the Switch was or the NX was or anything like that. Did I just see there were French-looking flags in the background? The red, white, and blue on the screen. Yeah, look, it's got they're French flags. That is, I mean, it's supposed to be the French Open, obviously. That was the slowest power shot I think I've ever hit. I've never noticed those flags before. I've been playing this game since the mid-90s. Makes me wonder what the grass courts and the hard courts have on them. Anyway, so let me tell a story really quick. So the story actually starts in January, very briefly. So in January, I came into $500 because I won it in a contest. Now, I did not use this $500 to pay for the Switch. I used other money, and we'll get to that. But due to, you know, paperwork and mail times and stuff, I didn't get it till the very first week of March, even though it was the first week of January when I officially won the money. So then we flash forward to March, and the Switch is out. And I had more than enough money to buy the Switch, and even Breath of the Wild, I think. Which, you know, I mean, why would you buy a Switch if you weren't going to buy Breath of the Wild? You know. So, you know, I don't know how exciting this match is going to be for you guys, but I wanted it to be a fairly light match, so that way I wouldn't feel pressure to play. I could also just talk. But I'm afraid it's going to be quite boring because I'm up 6. I may just lose some just to give it a competitive edge. Anyway, so So in March when it was released, I actually could have bought it on Amazon. Amazon Prime Now in San Antonio had one in stock. And I could have bought it, but I decided no, I'll wait for my birthday. You know, I'll just use some of this money that I got, which I did sort of. I used some of it to buy Breath of the Wild, but not the console itself. So, oh, come on, Mario. I gave you that one. I wasn't even trying then. So, I'm going to do a Federer thing he used to do when he was younger and just let him ace while he... Anyway, so, I didn't buy it. And so, flash forward to my birthday. And even then, I was thinking, oh, yeah, I'm not going to buy it. You know, I'm just going to... I'll wait. Christmas isn't that far away. So I got my birthday money from my grandmother, which is $125 every year, which is way too much money for a grandparent to spend on her grandchild, but she does for all 5 of us. My sister, my 2 cousins, and my sister's husband. And, so, whoops, I missed. So, and that's not unusual. That's how much money I was sort of expecting. And I was going to use it to kind of fund Dirt 4, which I had already pre-ordered at that point. Oh, okay. That was not just a miss. I mean, that was not intentional. That was on accident. So, okay, come on. Mario, I'm barely moving the stick. Alright, that's enough of that. Oh, come on. So, then, my mother gives me her check. And usually my parents give me about $75 for my birthday, give or take. You know, I think it's a good amount of money. Bigger birthdays, I can get more. Like, for my birthday, my 21st birthday, I got my Les Paul, which is only an Epiphone Les Paul. It was $400. And my parents covered most of it. And my grandparents covered the 125 for my grandparents. And then, anyway. You know, my 30th birthday, my parents paid for my RX 460 and my PC. So it's not like it's unprecedented for my parents to give me more money, but it's very rare. It's a special occasion is what I'm saying. So, but my mother hands me the check, and it's for $200. And my immediate thought was, Mom, there's something wrong with this check. This is too much money. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Why would you ever tell your mother that she was giving you too much money? My parents do not have money issues. I'm not saying that. They can easily afford to give me $200 every year if they wanted to. They don't, and they shouldn't. But, well, you know what? I say every year. Probably not every year. But anyway, so my sister got a bigger birthday this year. But it's not a special birthday for her either, other than the fact that she had a kid. My niece, which was born in October of last year. I'll get it out. So my niece was born in October of last year, so that's not why she got the money, but would be the only special reason. Oh, okay, that was intense. That was me actively trying to beat Mario there. And so now I have $325 of birthday money that I don't really know what I'm going to do with. I mean, I could buy more video games. And I'm walking to my car to go put this money in the bank because that's what you should do with checks. And I realize I can buy a Switch. I can buy a Nintendo Switch. And so I think, well, why don't I? Well, that was dumb. So why don't I buy a Switch? Well, so I start looking and I think, you know what? I'll just look. I'll see what I can get. And then as it turns out, and this may surprise no one, They were very hard to find. No one had them in stock except for $500, and I wasn't going to pay $500 for a Switch. Mario, don't come to the net, man. Just don't. Just don't come to the net. You're not going to win it. You're just not. So, get it. Luigi. So, I started looking and I couldn't find anything, period. And eventually, one day, my mother and my grandmother and I decided to go to the outlet malls in San Marcos. And if you don't know where San Marcos is, it's about a half an hour north of where we live, which is on the northeast side of San Antonio. And so we go up to the outlet malls, and on our way home, we stop in New Braunfels, which is about halfway between where we live and San Marcos, to eat lunch at Nuke's Cafe, which is amazing potato soup. A++ there. And then we go to get gas at an H-E-B. Now, H-E-B is a grocery store in South Central Texas, and also I think they have some places in Louisiana. Now, this is the moment where you might be thinking, okay, so what? Grocery store? Big deal. Well, see, the H-E-B that's near where we live, not New Braunfels. Well, the one in New Braunfels is too. But they're called H-E-B Pluses, and they sell more things like having an electronics section. So as we pull up to get gas, I just happened to look to see if our H-E-B has any Switches in stock on their website. You know, those website things, they're never 100% accurate. Ever. And I looked, and they happened to have one in stock with the red and the blue Joy-Cons, which I didn't think I'd like, but I really do now. But anyway, so they had it in stock. And I said, Mom, we have to stop at H-E-B on the way home. They may have a Nintendo Switch in stock because, you know, it's a Nintendo Switch. And I wasn't going to risk not getting it. So, come on, Mario. You know you're not going to beat me at the net. Even if I'm not doing anything. So we pull up to the H-E-B. I told you I was going to pass you. So I pull up to the H-E-B. And I run in, and I go straight to the electronics section. And I look over, and they don't have any on display. And I'm thinking, oh, great, okay. So their online website. So I ask the guy, and I say, do you have any Switches, Nintendo Switches? It doesn't look like you have any in stock, but your website says you do. Those things are not reliable, I know. And he goes, well, we just got a shipment in today. I'll check. And so he goes and he checks, and guess what? They got one Switch in, and so I bought it. I had to wait for him to go. Oh, man, it was my lucky day. Like, I don't consider a lot of my life to be incredibly lucky. I have not led an incredibly, like, charmed life. I consider that to be the luckiest day I have ever lived up until in my 31 years of life. Because I've not experienced a lot of, I got passed. I've experienced a lot of luck, is what I'm saying. So that was, yeah, that was the fun little story that took 2 sets. Admittedly, 6 games. 7 games. So, as far as my thoughts on the Switch, so as far as my thoughts on the Switch, I've already mentioned how I think it's the perfect console for me. But, like, I mean, you know, there are things that I really love about it. Being portable, I can, you know, continue to play Breath of the Wild in my bed rather than having to sit in front of a TV and play it as I'm winding down to go to sleep. You know? It's fun. I mean, admittedly, I haven't played Breath of the Wild in several months. No, in about a month. Or 2 months. Oh my goodness, I don't think I've played Breath of the Wild in 2 months. I'm just now realizing this. I haven't played it since late June. Well, July and August. Wow. Anyway, I don't have a lot of games for the Switch, so I can't comment on the entire library. What we've seen so far is pretty good, and I like where it's headed. I'll be honest with you, I like where it's headed. I actually find the controller in the Joy-Cons that are, when they're docked on the Switch and you're playing it in portable mode, I find that to be incredibly comfortable. However, I will say this about portable mode. If you're going to make games like Breath of the Wild have ridiculous controller puzzles where I have to rotate the controller to solve the puzzle, you know what? Don't do that. They're frustrating, they're annoying, and I can't do them when I have the Joy-Cons docked, because then I can't see the screen, and it's not fun. That was an impressive shot we're going to watch again. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to start playing with my serve. I could have sworn that one was in, by the way. Ah! However, I don't particularly care for the Joy-Cons and the grip. I know I'm not the only one. It's not the size. Like, I don't mind the size of the buttons or even the vertical nature of the Joy-Cons, because otherwise I wouldn't like them in docked mode either. Like, that doesn't bother me. And I finally figured it out while I was thinking about this episode. And it's because they're too close together in the Joy-Con grip. If they were spaced further apart, like an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller, maybe. I don't have a PlayStation controller for reference, but I assume it's a slightly bigger controller. I feel really bad. I really probably should have played Mario on hard. I can beat him on hard. It's just a much more intense game. So, I mean, I don't have a Pro controller, so I can't comment on the Pro controller. If I had a Pro controller, I'd probably try and use it on my Switch and also on the PC. Just to, wow, that was a bad shot on my part. Because I think it would be very interesting. Wow! 2 nets in a row. Luigi, you are losing your touch, he says to a character on screen who's being controlled by him. You know, I mean, as far as, like, power goes, I don't think power is all that important, because if power was the only thing that gamers cared about, then the GameCube would have sold 150 million copies instead of the PlayStation 2. Oh my goodness! I started playing a little lazy, and we can't have this. There we go. You know? I mean, seriously, because the GameCube was fairly significantly more powerful than the PS2. And that's why the Wii is only really needed to be marginally more powerful than the GameCube, because the GameCube was already quite powerful. Also, Nintendo wanted to back away from trying to court the hardcore gamers and wanted to make a more inclusive console, which they did, which is why it sold 100 million copies and was the best selling of that generation. But yeah, I mean, look, there's not a lot to hate about the Switch, you know? There's not. There's just not. I'm gonna watch this again. There's just not a lot to hate about the Switch. Okay, it's a good console. It's more than powerful enough for the games. I mean, it can run Breath of the Wild. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few things about the Switch. I mean, the Wi-Fi sucks. Let's just be honest. The Wi-Fi sucks. I have it when I have it docked. I have it connected to Ethernet. You know, I mean, they're just all minor complaints, like the Joy-Con grip not being 100% comfortable. This has been the first episode of Ricky Talks, where I talked about the Nintendo Switch. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.